Hello, everybody, and welcome to More Than Just Business, powered by the Growth Coach of the Poconos. I'm Rick Franzo. I am the Growth Coach of the Poconos. And with us today is my special guest and neighbor, David Coulter. He is a real estate agent with Keller Williams Real Estate. He has the regal background going on now. It's almost crown royal purple. David, welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Terrific. I am terrific.
Excellent. Everybody by you is healthy, and
we're all, whole family's healthy, and for the most part, making the best of the stay-at-home order.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still, as we were talking about before, so we are neighbors. We're still in the red zone, and so hopefully that'll change to yellow and then to green, and we get back to it's not even the new normal now. I heard this term today, what the now normal is. And so it's kind of hard to move. And we're going to talk about pivoting in a while. But David, you have a rich background. Tell us about yourself. This is very exciting for me to have you on here. You've been quite iconic and well-known in this area for a long time, and not for real estate, just for that, but in other ways as well, and not good ones. He's not notorious. He didn't rob banks or anything, so far as we know. And so,
as you know.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay, iconic might be a little bit of a stretch, but I'm a Pocono native. Born and raised in Stroudsburg, and so I live now in Henryville, which is just north of Stroudsburg a little bit. I graduated from Stroudsburg High School, went away to college, and went away to another college, and went away to another college, and ended up with a degree in photography, commercial photography. Moved to New York City briefly, probably, I always think of it as 2 years, but when I really look at the dates, it was more like maybe a year and a half, something like that. And I came back to Stroudsburg to visit some people, stopped at the Pocono record office to say hello to somebody, and ended up with a job there that I stayed there for 16 and a half years. I thought I'd be there for 2.5, 3 years, something like that. And 16 and a half years later, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning one day and went in and resigned and began my freelance business full time. Although I had been doing freelance commercial business all along since probably, 84, 86, something like that. So several years ago, as everybody's aware, we had a pretty severe downturn in the economy, and a large percentage of my commercial photography business just completely ceased. I did a lot of work for mom and pop businesses, for websites and brochures. Yes, there was a time when brochures were actually a big thing. We did a lot of that, print things, before the web business started. The mom and pop thing virtually shut down overnight. My work for colleges and universities and hospitals and banks and things, stayed for quite a bit longer. But as the one bringing home the bacon, so to speak, although I eat very little bacon anymore, but about 5 years ago, I decided I really need to do something else with 2 kids at home. And so I called a friend of mine, Walter, who also lives in Henryville, who had gone into real estate with a photography background. And he invited me to a team meeting at Keller Williams. I really expected to get this, oh my God, not another one, kind of greeting when I walked into a team meeting at Keller Williams, which would be, about 5 years ago, a little more than 5 years ago now. And it was quite the opposite. I was welcomed with open arms, and it was really a beautiful thing. Training, they put me in training immediately, even before I got my license. I was working with upper level agents, and I was in a coaching program through Keller Williams right away. And that was about 5 years ago. I got my license in June 5 years ago. So, I'm still an agent with Keller Williams, and actually last June I got, I guess you could call it a promotion, but they've made me, I don't have my broker's license yet, which I'm working on. So I'm not an assistant broker, but I am the assistant to the broker.
Okay.
So I'm helping mostly new agents work on answering questions about their contracts, filling out contracts and things like that, how to make sure everything is right and that we stay compliant. Because if we're compliant, then we are servicing our clients to the best of our ability. Because everything has to be, we don't want to have any loopholes in a contract that leave somebody hanging out to dry. We want everybody to have a clear understanding of what we signed on for, and go ahead with the greatest amount of skill and ethics as completely possible. And it's interesting. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I do, but it's really, every day is really really and I really do like it, even on the days that are kind of crazy. It's just flat out interesting.
No, we have to love what we do, right?
It sure helps.
It does. It helps. Now, during these times, and we had talked about, we're still in the stay-at-home orders, so that includes realtors, right? So how has the real estate industry, how have you pivoted to a more virtual platform for homes? First, I'd like to ask, how many homes are now available right here in Monroe County and the Poconos right now, approximately?
Inventory is very low right now. We're a little bit over 1,600 homes on our multi-listing service.
Yeah, and that's pretty
Very
low.
There were,
Foreclosures was kind of low too, right?
I'm sorry?
The foreclosures, they were pretty low going into this though, right?
Yeah. It's been an interesting time. When I started 5 years ago, there were, I don't know, maybe 30, I don't really remember, but maybe 3,500, 3,600 homes on the market. There was a whole bunch of foreclosures. I mean, there were a lot of foreclosures. And then a couple of years ago, with interest rates dropping, money became more available. A lot of those foreclosures got scooped up by investors and either flipped or turned into, rentals, things like that, which is great because there's a lot of houses that are, needed a roof, needed a paint job, and put back into service so somebody could live, in a healthy lifestyle in these places. And
yeah,
there's a lot less foreclosures now than there were.
Yeah, for sure. So what does the sales process look like now that you have to do things virtually? Obviously, or maybe not so obviously, the beat goes on, and so houses are still being bought and sold, but albeit at a slower rate, slower pace. But how does this look? How do you conduct business now virtually? How have you pivoted compared to going on site and showing houses? And I think that's going to be the real tail of the tape here, right?
Yeah. Now, for the most part, transactions that were in progress we're finishing. Some transactions can take 45, 60 days or even longer. So those that were started prior to the outbreak are still going forward. If somebody wants to, I'm continuing to get calls, people that want to sell their homes. And the way that would happen, if it were possible, if somebody has their house and they're ready to move on it, ready to put it on the market, I would definitely encourage them to put it on the market at this time. But I'm not allowed to go to the house. I'm not allowed to leave my house unless I go out for food or medical. That's, essential things. It's still in the red zone. So the seller at this time has to provide the pictures, and they have to provide the home measurements. And then, we do everything, signing things, interviews in a virtual manner. When it comes to buyers, not allowed to leave the house. I cannot take buyers to a property, and I cannot facilitate buyers going to a property. If a buyer calls me up and says, "Hey, can I go look at a house? It's a vacant house. Can I just go drive over there and peek in the window and see if we like the place?" No, can't do it. stay-at-home orders. We got to follow the rules. And, you know, it's the main thing is we have to follow the rules because it's public health situation and it's our individual health situation. If we want to get back to work in the best possible way, we got to get healthy as a community. We just have to. That's the deal. I want to get back to work as much as anybody else. I have kids to feed. You know, I have a family here, and I really want to get back to work as much as possible. But I don't want to get sick doing it, because that's not productive either. You know, it's not good for anybody.
Right. No, and that makes a lot of sense, you know, for that. So that really, you know, that lets people know also, you know, things haven't come to a complete stop. There's still ways that people have pivoted to run business.
And there are ways, some homes are going under contract from investors, or say there's some vacant homes or some houses that aren't in great shape and are lower prices. Investors are coming in and they're just waiving the inspections because inspectors can't go out yet, not at this particular day and time. Right. Inspectors can't go out. Appraisals are being done either by drive-by or desktop. They're not going into homes. So, you know, say there's a house for $70,000 and an investor, you know, is sort of familiar with the house and with the neighborhood. They might put an offer in and waive everything, and it's just a cash deal, and we can get that done. Those are some of the ways that the properties are being sold right now.
No, that makes a lot of sense. If anybody wanted to get a hold of you, if they wanted to sell their property or if they wanted to have any kind of real estate questions answered, how would they get a hold of you, David?
Well, the best way would to be give me a call. My cell phone, 570-656-4890. You could send me a text on that number. You could send me an email at dcoulter, COULTER@KW.com. And I'll be glad to help you and, you know, explain the process. It is a process, and the more educated we all are about it, the better off we'll be, and the more efficiently we'll get a transaction taken care of.
And that's why I'm so glad that you decided to join us today, because everything that's happening now is a process. It's the now normal, and we have to kind of know how we can proceed in the best way, the safest way possible. And David, we could have a separate show about your experiences as a photographer for the local paper. You've seen a lot of different things. And so we should make that a show for another day, because this is more than just business. And so I think that would be exciting. I am going to get a backdrop so that it matches that. That's very regal. And I like that a lot.
I'll sell you one.
You know what? We'll have to talk about the negotiations on that. Absolutely. David's a great guy. We have coffee probably every 4 to 6 weeks, or we did anyway, when everything was open, and kind of just share war stories. We don't do the same thing, but we kind of talk about the business climate and bounce things off of each other. And it's always great to talk to somebody like David, who is so knowledgeable and has the character and integrity that he does. And David, we appreciate you sharing that information and joining us today on More Than Just Business.
Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. A pleasure. And I wish you and your family nothing but the best. Be well, stay healthy, and hopefully we can all get back once this goes yellow to green for go. And, you know, we can put this, you know, kind of behind us a little bit and still prepare for the future as well.
Yeah, I'll look forward to another get together, you know, virtually first and then in person later.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Well, again, thank you so much, David. This has been More Than Just Business, powered by the Growth Coach of the Poconos. And again, everybody stay healthy, stay well, and stay gold.
All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Good day.
Good day.